Hey, everybody. I thank you for attending this little conversation that Roger Knecht of Universal Accounting and I are having today. We've been talking with each other for about 9 months to a year, just about the changes in the accounting and bookkeeping industry. So Roger and I wanted to have this conversation because what manifested itself out of those conversations is an awesome working relationship and partnership between Universal Accounting and Profit First Professional. So Roger, welcome aboard. Say hello to the audience. And if you want to just give your background real quick, that'd be great.
Hello. Yes. Well, just as a background, as you did state, I'm president of Universal Accounting Center, but my background really is more in the marketing. And what I've been doing for a number of years is helping individuals within the accounting profession more efficiently and appropriately explain who it is that they are as they grow their practices. And one of the things that I think we really emphasize is that there's more than just being an accountant, a bookkeeper, a tax preparer. We've taught for years the idea of becoming a profit and growth expert. And Profit First, I really truly believe, is the proper extension of that, because it enables you to be certified in what matters most for so many clients. And that is, as you're working with them, it's their profits. So they want to know that as they're getting the accounting done, in the end, it's actually resulting in something to show for it. So anyways.
Right. Absolutely. And I think one of our questions or our conversation started out with, I think you asked me, Ron, what, I believe I wrote it down. Why is profit important to business owners? And, it's funny, as I was preparing for this conversation, I wanted to get some statistics available. And I read something, Entrepreneur Magazine listed the #1 reason businesses fold is the inability to nail a profitable business model, not cash flow. Okay, because we can work on things that can do an injection of cash, but a profitable business. 50% of businesses that start fail. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And, the survivability of those businesses to reach year 5 is another 50% of them fail. So, why is it that these businesses are failing when we believe that, to have profit is going to allow the business owner to market, to hire, and to put a little money away. So, what's your take on that? Why do you feel it's important?
I'm going to share two things. One, I think when you look at those studies closely, you're right. It's not so much the profit, it's the cash flow that really determines a lot of what's going on in the business, and it's the proper management of that. But just to share a story, I attended a number of years ago a conference. It was an Inc. 500 conference, and while I was involved with one of the group discussions, there was a panelist there, and he shared an interesting insight. He had mentioned that there were congressmen and senators involved in a committee discussion, and what they were struggling to understand from the business leaders that were presenting to the congressmen and senators is what the difference between a profitable business was and a business that had proper cash flow. And what I mean by that is they were struggling to understand congressionally how a business could actually on an accrual basis show that it's being profitable and yet be bankrupt. They couldn't understand that. And so it's really, I think, when you're outside of the business world, a misunderstanding that just because people are buying your product or just because people are selling, that they're actually being successful. And so Profit First, I think, brings this full circle, and it says what we want to do is we want to come up with a system that generates revenue, that there is a profitable business model involved, but profits are in fact the end game. When you're a business owner, this is the ultimate manifestation, I think, in many ways, of the success that you're trying to achieve.
Right. I also, part of why profit is important. And I was at QuickBooks Connect, and Brad Smith was sharing a statistic that he said if small businesses across America can generate a 2.5 to 3% profit, those firms, while are collectively are going to be able to hire, and will be able to create more jobs than we have in the previous 10 years. So being a profitable company in today's climate may sound like a bad thing, but it's actually a great way to really turbocharge the small business community, because we're the folks out there that are employing most of the folks in America. And it really is a travesty that for one reason or another, these businesses go down. And so the transition is I don't want to say transition. There's a major shift going on. And people are realizing that maybe what's worked in the beginning isn't working now. So the whole industry is making this huge change to try to figure that out. And profit consulting is one of the most valuable tools that any bookkeeping and accounting firm can possess. But how do you get to that point?
Yes. Well, I'm going to add to it in two regards. One, the economy is made up of 98% of the businesses consisting of 20 or fewer employees. In fact, the majority of those businesses are actually made up of people that have fewer than 10 employees. So it is the small business world that runs or manifests what's happening in the economy. So we do want to be sensitive to what all these small business owners are experiencing. But to your point, when a business is growing, the first challenge or question that needs to be asked is, will people buy what I have to offer? Are there sales? But once you start making the sales, really the business owner needs to then focus on, am I able to do this profitably? Because the growth will only occur if you have the means to actually support the business. So what Profit First certifies individuals to do is actually do this competently. It's a question of, is there a system, a process that you can use with businesses to ensure that they can do this correctly? It's not just some ad hoc wing it type of a process. Profit First brings to the table a tried and proven method that allows an individual with confidence to consult their clients and make sure that each of the clients are using a system that they can each trust and know will work. So one of the things that I think is helpful with this whole discussion is, when you're in a business and you're trying to grow it, you need to do so smart or in an intelligent way. And so what we want to do is, as Profit First professionals, is give them the tools to grow in a managed format so that they're not growing too fast, they're not outpacing their growth abilities. Profit First is an element that I think enables a business to grow intelligently.
Absolutely, and thank you. Well said. So one of the things people are going to, or prospects, folks that go through your university are going to be faced with when they're talking about Profit First is, before we even get into the tactical implementation of the methodology, there's some behaviors that we have to change, some limiting beliefs that we have to smash. Okay, and the biggest limiting belief is the fact that sales minus expenses equal profit, okay, is the way to run a business. It's something that we've been beaten into our brain since day one, since accounting became, a profession and business grow. Sell, occur expense, and then whatever you have left over is the profit. Now, if that formula was correct and everybody in the world was following that formula, well, then wouldn't the statistics be a little bit different? Wouldn't the 83% of small businesses under $25 million that the SBA categorizes be successful? No, but it's the opposite. And the reason why, and this is where the traditional cash flow methodology and Profit First flip. Okay, sales minus expenses is a logical system, but it's not a behavioral system. We are conditioned as human beings to pay attention what's in front of us, to pay attention to and measure things that are important to us. So then also, what comes last is a leftover. What comes last is an undesirable. So when we make profit last, we're saying it's an undesirable.
The priorities are wrong.
Yeah, so we're saying a simple flip of that equation, okay, let's make profit one of the primary focuses. So we have sales minus profit equal expenses. That slight flip in that equation makes all the difference in the world. So when we're training and you're training and we're training students together, that, letting them know that the behaviors of entrepreneurs really aren't necessarily the same as behaviors of bookkeepers and accountants. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, what I want to add to that is this. You speak of it as a behavioral process, and I love how Mike even explains it as well, because what happens here is we're talking about putting our priorities straight. If we put attention on profits, we're more likely to achieve those profits because we're putting that emphasis first. So let me share with you a little story. It's an analogy that I give that I think illustrates this well. Whenever I speak to the business clients that we work with, I always emphasize the fact that we need to see business as a living, breathing entity, as an individual itself. And the very first question that you have to ask as it comes to profits is how many people, employees, would work for nothing? At the end of the day, the business exists because it also expects a paycheck, and that's the profit. So at the end of the day, if the profits don't exist, how long do you think the business is going to stick around? How long do you think the business is going to continue doing what it does when in the reality of everything, it's the one that's most neglected? Just like every employee expects to be compensated for their time and effort in the work, the business itself also needs to show a profit. And so what we want to do is, just like we're making everyone's payday, just as we're processing payroll, we need to make sure that the profits are also being given to the business, which needs it most. Now, you might take it a step further and say that some businesses, when they're small, the profit is what the owner takes. Well, what I'm going to say is that the business owner should be taking a payroll, but at the same time, the business needs to be receiving its portion as well. And so in the analogy that I always use with my clients, when you can see your business as a living, breathing entity, then you're able to treat this appropriately. And I take this analogy much, much further. And what I do is I show that the business is very akin to either being a young child, a teenager, or a young adult. When you have a child that is, as a business, you're spending all this time with the child because you can't leave it alone. Any of us that have had young children, you don't leave a 1-year-old in a room by itself, a 2-year-old in a room by itself, because within moments it could be in trouble, life-threatening trouble, in fact. So what we want to do is always recognize that in some instances, a business sometimes needs that business owner's attention day in, day out, 24/7. But the business owner wants to get to a point where they're not eating, living, dreaming the business. They want to get to a point where, like a teenager, the business is self-sustaining. The teenager can get up in the morning and dress itself, feed themselves. The teenager can entertain themselves. There's no worry. You set up a few boundaries and parameters. You got to be home at this time of night or whatever. But when a business runs like a teenager, it's more efficient. It has purpose. It's driven with some personal goals that the business is trying to accomplish. So all of these things, when you apply it to business, comes full circle back to the point that you want to have a business that literally has a self-identity where it's making a profit, where it's earning what it's worth.
Right, where the business is actually serving the owner versus the owner getting served by the business, waking up every morning being miserable. Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of the things that we run into, and I'd love to hear your take on this, is, well, Roger, I don't want to run a profitable company. Then I have to pay taxes.
Well, I'm going to give you two answers to that. First of all, taxes, they are simply an expression of success. So let's just accept that when you're being successful, you're going to have to pay taxes. When you get your paycheck, Ron, when I get my paycheck, we pay taxes, all right? Well, it's the same for the business. That's the price of success, we'll say. But I will give you this. Depending on what stage the business is in, you may not want to show taxes or pay taxes, and therefore you're not going to show profits. But that's because you're doing things strategically. It's on purpose. It's intentional. And there is a tax strategy to that. But when you're trying to build a business that has value, that has worth, the one big manifestation of its value is, in fact, the profit. If the bottom line is minus profit, what we're doing is we're saying the business is not a success. And so this is obviously more of an accounting discussion, but there is a strategy to when and how you show profits and when and how you're paying taxes. There's intent there. But I will say that profit is not something you're trying to avoid. Please don't ever believe that the right business model is to avoid profit. That's I think, too often a misnomer.
Love it. Absolutely. I look at, paying taxes as a badge of honor almost. The more that I'm paying means the more I'm making. And you hit the nail on the head. There are strategies to minimize your tax burden. We call that tax defense. And that isn't necessarily occurring more expenses, but you're absolutely right. Having a profitable company and then, being able to defend that's when your CPA really comes into play. So what we're talking about here with Profit First is the ultimate pay yourself first methodology that ensures that the business owner, he's being paid himself. Two, that the taxes that he's going to probably have to occur potentially are going to be reimbursed by the company to him, and where there is profit that can be used to pay down debt or celebrate. And so it really is amazing that there is this different way of doing it. And while what Mike and I created with Profit First, pay yourself first is nothing new, but how we're applying it to businesses and tying in the behaviors of this is a wonderful opportunity for accountants, bookkeepers, anybody who's running it in their business to really be more empowered, to really, get their business finances under control. Now, compound that with the professional that's working with entrepreneurs. I mean, you're going to be able to really empower them. You're going to be able to help them make more money than they've ever made before. And, it really is a great opportunity for all of us to work together to live the lives that we want but also really making a difference to those that we're serving versus just being, a historian of what happened.
Yes. Well, I'm going to come to two things. One, I'm going to go back to the analogy that I shared a moment ago of the business being a living, breathing entity. Just like you would like to take home some money and in turn you're paying taxes, you're at the end of the tax year, I'm sure going to be looking for things that you can use as tax deductions to minimize legally your tax liability. Totally get that. Well, the same is going to be true for business. You want to be profitable for business. That business earns so much for its contribution and work that it did as an entity, as a living, breathing entity, okay? And with that in mind, you then, at the end of the tax year, then look for strategies. Are there investments within the business that we can make, where we can buy product or material or machines? What investments can we do in the business? What things can we write off that we probably struggled with in the business year? Those tax strategies are then tax deferring opportunities. But please don't think that the best tax strategy is no profit. That's, I think, a misnomer. But the second thing I'd also point out is when you're certified as a Profit First professional, the goal that you're bringing is, like you were just sharing a moment ago, it's not taking the accounting philosophy and looking at everything historically. It's now, through the Profit First mindset, looking at business forward thinking. And as a Profit First professional, what you're trying to do is you're trying to put the priorities straight and, most importantly, act as a trusted strategic advisor. We're trying to actually more intelligently within the accounting profession work with companies to help them understand what they can be doing to make more intelligent business decisions to ultimately be profitable. That's the goal. And when you, as a Profit First professional, have the training and the resources and the tools to properly market yourself to get more clients, properly service the clients to help them achieve this, you're then able to experience success. And I think more importantly, realize your potential within this profession. That's the whole goal here, is to be a trusted advisor. When you're that strategic advisor for your clients, you're realizing, I think, your biggest potential as an accounting professional. So whether it's bookkeeping services, accounting services, tax services, this is a natural extension of that skill set.
Right. Absolutely. And the motive is changing. The motive of the accounting business owner is changing. It's no longer, hey, I love numbers. I love doing the debits, credits. I love doing the tax returns, and I get paid for it. Now it's shifting because of technology, the rise of the machines, where we're an algorithm away from totally being outsourced with the compliance. It's here. Mike and I have been to meetings with these high-tech companies where there's very, very smart guys in the back room, and artificial intelligence, everything. So the motive needs to change and look for those unhidden unforeseen opportunities where the business owner is, hey, listen, I'm a business owner like you, okay? So I'm dealing with price pressures. I'm dealing with marketing issues, hiring, and this is a system that I've learned to get my cash flow under control, and now I'm running it in my business. Let me share with you why this profit first methodology is going to work in your business, because it's no longer just doing what the CPA or the bookkeeper says. This is now business owner to business owner talking about similar struggles and helping them come over any obstacles that they are currently facing. So the firm of the future, which should be the firm of now, quite honestly, is going to be embracing these technologies, is going to embracing profit consulting, is going to realize that algorithms are going to take the compliance side away. But how do we get there? And there's a tremendous skills gap that it has not been addressed until recently. So because most businesses in the accounting and bookkeeping have relied on referrals. And when you're living on referrals, well, if they dry up, that's fine. But you're also seen as a commodity, and you're not going to be able to really construct the business that you're looking for. But also, accountants and bookkeepers didn't have to sell, didn't have to really position themselves as necessarily a strategic advisor. They were seen as trusted because they're handling the finances, but they've been so commoditized over the 30, 40 years that how do they make that leap to advising? How do they learn that sales? How do they learn that marketing? And so that's why we're partnering with you, with Universal Accounting, because while Profit First is a wonderful methodology and a program, we were noticing that there was deficiencies in the industry that, quite frankly, we couldn't address. And those are, the gaps that your company, Universal Accounting, is addressing. So that's why I've been so pumped about this relationship, and really hope that people embrace everything that you guys are doing over there, and then join our family with Profit First.
Love it. Thank you. I need to add a few things to this. One, you were sharing earlier about the transition that's occurring within the accounting profession, how things are being automated. One of the things that I'd like to share with that is an experience we had as a school years ago. We had actually incorporated into our training computers, and it was the data entry, go into the software, enter the data. And what we found when teaching this way is that the students actually were dumbed down. They become data entry people, and they didn't understand the debits and the credits, how the journal and ledger were working together. And so one of the things that we did is we saw the testing scores drop. They were actually dumbing down the students. So we quickly, after a number of months, removed from the classroom the computers and put back literally the pencil and paper of T accounts, journals, and ledgers. And the reason for it wasn't because we were trying to say, look, when you go out into the real world, you want to go back to journals and ledgers. What we understood is, as a school, our responsibility was to teach accounting as it is. So here's my example. When you go to school and you're in elementary and you're learning addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, you learn it first longhand. You take a full sheet of paper and you do long division, you do long multiplication, you do long addition, and you're carrying numbers and you're moving them down the piece of paper to get to that answer. The reason for this is so that you understand the nuances of the process. Now, when the student in elementary school says, teacher, why do I have to do it this way when my mom has a calculator? Everybody has a calculator. Why am I having to do 10,000 times 353,000? Why am I doing this? Well, the reason why is because you learn the process. Well, the same is true in accounting. When you can see the relationships of debits and credits, you, when you get out into the real world, now have a sixth sense for how the accounting is being done. What's going on with the numbers as they interact together. And when something on a financial statement does not look right, you understand what the numbers were behind the scenes that got there. And so you're able to go in and troubleshoot more easily any of the software programs out there, because you know the play of the numbers and how they're actually playing and affecting the P&L, the balance sheet. So that's the first thing that we focus on as a school. But to your point about technology, yes, all of this is evolving to where it's going to be automated, but it's not going to remove the need for someone to understand the processes. But it means you're no longer doing the data entry. You're no longer doing the processes. And that's where that strategic advisor that you're talking about comes in. We need to then understand how to use this information and how to communicate it to our clients, the business owners, so that they can make more intelligent business decisions. Just because the accounting is becoming more and more automated does not mean that the business owner is able to understand it any more easily.
Right.
We need to still play that role. So the big thing that I want to stress here is at Universal Accounting Center, we feel the need to be not just capable, but competent. You need to be able to do this intelligently. So when you look a business owner in the eyes, you're able to say with confidence, I can do your books and take care of your accounting and do this in a way that's timely, efficient, and more importantly, give you in the end information you need to make more intelligent business decisions. That's the thing we want to focus on. And with Profit First, it helps us take this extension of where we've been teaching, become profit and growth experts to the right level. It's helping them literally take that next step with their clients and be the trusted strategic advisors that they ought to be in the future. The other thing I wanted to just kind of share for a moment is as technology goes this direction, we should not feel threatened. When computers came on the scene 50 years ago and people were moving away from journals and ledgers, we're still here. I jokingly refer to accounting as being the second oldest profession. What we want to understand is whenever someone had something, they wanted to keep track of it and they wanted an accounting of it.
Right.
So that's always going to be in place. So what we need to do is understand, in order to be able to properly market your services and be competitive in your markets, you need to be able to stand out above the other accountants, tax preparers, bookkeepers, by saying that you do these types of services. Being just that, a profit certified individual, is helpful in marketing and getting and retaining clients.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. It's a significant marketing and service differentiator. And one of the reasons why we decided to work with you has been because our selection process. Our selection process to become a Profit First professional was very difficult. And it was one of the things that I always look for are folks that have been consultative in the past, ones that have been able to, who have improved a process. Okay, made a difference to the bottom line, shared strategic advice with the business owner. And it was very difficult. And what I was seeing is that there was a lot of transaction-oriented accounting professionals. And what was happening was they, while in theory, everybody can get Profit First, they can do it, but they didn't have that consultative. They didn't have the basics either. You know, so some of the accountants and bookkeepers, some of the work that I would review wasn't very good. And it was simply because they didn't have the proper foundation. So, you know, that folks coming out of universal accounting, they're on a pedestal compared to, you know, self-studies or other courses there because of the way you guys teach. Now, you know, we're looking to help them get to the next level by, you know, really embracing the methodology and integrating them into our families and really helping them monetize being a professional. And you hit the nail on the head too. What do you do different than other people? And the example that I like to share, if somebody says to me, I'm at a cocktail party somewhere and somebody says, hey Ron, what do you do for a living? I'm a certified Profit First professional. First thing they do is they look at me and say, what's that? And I said, well, that's magic. That is what everybody is paying for. SEO, marketing, that is magic. Getting somebody to get you outside of the proverbial box. Okay, so what I say is, well, I'm sure you're familiar with traditional accounting services, and my firm's awesome at that. But why my customers renew with me every year, why they refer me to their peers, is because I make a difference to their bottom line. I'm able to implement a pay yourself first strategy and implement a profit blueprint looking forward that's going to keep us on this path to profitability. I have a front window approach to managing finances versus traditional rear view. So if you're looking to work with a proactive and innovative, you know, forward-thinking professional, well, that's what I am. And it's funny, you know, I was doing a talk in New York City to a bunch of tech startups, and one of the guys said to me, you know, my father's accountant assumed that he was going to be our accountant. And he said, just because you were my father's accountant doesn't mean you're my accountant. So businesses coming up today, they do not want traditional. They want people who get them, that get technology, that are able to work with them on the same side of the table versus kind of just saying, here you go, here you do this, do that. So to really differentiate yourself, it's not just in the look and feel, but it's in the what you actually do that's different.
Well, here's the beauty of what I think we're discussing. Ron, what we're talking about is making accounting sexy. It makes it appealing. It makes it fun. It makes it interesting. It makes it engaging. That's what we're talking about here. And that sex appeal that's associated with accounting that we're able to bring here is important because it doesn't exist traditionally. Most people see it as a dry, boring, number crunching type of experience. But this is bringing something to the forefront that I think every business owner can get excited about and look forward to is how much money did I make? And that's a profit first focus. The other thing I'd also mention is there's a difference between theory and practice. Profit first, it has a nice allure to it. It has a draw where the business owner wants to see what they can do to obviously achieve this. There's something that is appealing about it. But when you're a certified profit first professional, it means you have not just the theory to help you, but you also have the means to coach and advise and help them implement and successfully realize what this is all about. Because you can have a conversation and someone goes, well, yeah, that's intuitive. Profit first, that makes sense. I'm going to go back to my company and do it. No, there's a process, there's a system. And when you work with a certified profit first advisor who knows that process, knows that system, they're more able to ensure that you're going to adapt and change and evolve to then have in place what you need to achieve this. So that's key. The other thing I like to point out is with Universal, when we have our students enrolled, they're assigned coaches. I'm proud to say that one of our coaches is in fact as a profit first professional. That's huge. Because as we're working with our students, it's not just instructing them, but it's able to then support and help them implement these things with people who are doing this very thing with their own clients. That, I think, is a powerful thing. So to be able to say that on staff, we have a profit first professional that can take what you're doing and roll it out, that's wonderful. I think that's just a big part of what we're doing here.
Right. And some of your former students are also profit first professionals. Billy Ann Grigg is one of them. And you're speaking about Adam Spivak, who's doing great, by the way. And, one of the things that people often ask me is, okay, I get it, Ron. Why I can just read the book. Why do I need an accountant? I can do it. And that's great. But that's also misinformed. And one of the analogies I use is, while profit first is conceptually simple, just taking a predetermined percentage of revenue and allocating it for a purpose, right?
Yep.
Well, so's getting rich in the stock market, Roger. All you got to do is buy low and sell high. That's it. The devil's always in the details. So while you also provide coaching, we do too. So every member that goes through Universal Accounting becomes a certified profit first professional. We are also assigning them a guide, a profit first guide that's going to work with them every step of the way to ensure that they're really getting the most out of it. But what we really want is our members to get letters like this. Okay, this is a 2-page letter here, and I just want to share it a little bit to give you an idea of what this has done for us. At one point early in 2015, our net profit year over year from year to date 2014 versus 2015 was up 1,721.4%. Now, this is from Keith Fear. Keith Fear actually owns Balloons Over the Rainbow, World of Balloons. It's a balloon company in, I think, North Carolina as well as Arizona. Okay. He was amazed how much this has helped. We're getting letters like this every single day. Now, that's great. But what does it really mean to the students that are coming out? How are the profit first professionals doing? Okay, so I just want to read a couple of testimonies that we received from some of our members. Karen Delarippa, Rich Straight, Beyond Balance Books. We have doubled our revenue in 6 months. The best part of Profit First Professionals is the community itself. Everyone is so generous and supporting each other. PFP HQ is world class. Oh, and did I tell you we doubled our revenue in 6 months? Now, while that is great and it can happen, okay, Karen's been around for over 20 years. So this is a successful accounting firm that's tried a lot of different things over the years. That's why I'm bringing her into the spotlight. The next one is from Cindy Thomason. Cindy Thomason, I remember speaking with Cindy Thomason early on when we were just starting this thing. She joined Profit First. She had 12 clients, generated about 1 lead a month, every other month almost, and had just enough revenues to sustain. After 18 months of Profit First Professional membership, 57 clients, generates 5 leads a week, and revenue has soared by 465%. Okay, so it can be done. It really can be done by having a great foundation to build upon, which Universal Accounting provides, with the marketing, the sales, the help that Universal Accounting provides, migrating up into the Profit First methodology and understanding and being a part of everything that we have going on. It's a no-brainer. I mean, it really is an awesome thing that I hope everybody listening to really hears it and gives us a call, to learn more about, our organizations.
Well, I think the big thing here is everyone needs to realize that this is an opportunity for them to take their career to the next level, to where not only are they more capable to do their job as accountants, bookkeepers, tax preparers, but more importantly, they're able to make a difference in their clients and actually, I think, help them achieve what each of their clients is trying to do, and that's be profitable. So what we're trying to do here is, as we're working together, is enable our clients, our students rather, to actually have the skill sets they need, the confidence, the competence to go forward with the skill sets they need to service their client base. This is how they're going to distinguish themselves in their markets. This is how they're going to be the premier accounting service in their area. Is they're going to do more than just the historical accounting, preparing the financials, doing the tax returns. This is helping their clients actually excel and grow. And the beauty of it is simply this: as the clients grow, what happens? The services that they're providing then grow. They're going to be making more money doing the work for these same clients. But even beyond that, the referrals are going to come in because the things that they're doing, the services they're providing, are going to be so unique, so different from what everyone else is getting as accounting services, that they're going to get referrals of other businesses saying, I need what you're doing for so-and-so. I need that. They tell me that you're different. They tell me that you're more engaging. They tell me that you're more informative. They tell me that you're more involved. I need that in my business. Why? Because I need to be profitable. And they're going to be looking at each of our students to see that that's a possibility, that that's a realization. And that's what I think our programs offer. So with Universal Accounting, with Profit First Professionals, we're basically giving them the tools they need to succeed. Because, and I'd like your thoughts on this, Ron. At the conferences I've attended in the last year, if not 2 years, I'm astounded at how often at the conferences, whether it be QB Knecht, AccountX, at Sage, you name them, when you go to these accounting conferences, they speak about the accounting profession changing, that the bookkeeper, accountant needs to do something different, that they need to offer more than just accounting services. But I'm always astounded. They never say what it is. They say they need to do more, they need to do something different, but they don't say what or how to do that. This is the solution. This is the answer. What they're looking for, we have. We can give them the abilities to be professional bookkeepers, professional tax preparers, give them the designations they need in the accounting front, and then literally take them to that next level with Profit First Professionals. So that's where I see this going, because you're hearing the same thing at the conferences. Are you hearing that same thing?
I am. And, we go all the conferences, and I spend a lot of time there networking and learning what the other participants are doing. And so you're right. A lot of firms, a lot of, I guess, experts are giving the why. the why. This is the how. This is hand holding on the how. Absolutely. But there are other options. There are other options. And some of the other options that I've seen that accounting and bookkeeping firms can offer, they can do insurance. I've seen some offering insurance. I've seen some offering financial strategies. Okay.
Wealth management, yes.
Yeah, wealth management. I've also seen business planning. I've also seen what's the other one? Business planning, as well as tax coaching, which is fine, which is great too. But what's the one that really concerns me is when I hear firms wanting to teach entrepreneurs and startups how to read financial statements. You know, I get it. They're important. We should know how to use them. But at the end of the day, you know, what I have in the bank is profit to me. All right. So reading my P&L and understanding all that, you know, was great. I get it. But I don't know if that's necessarily the best route to go. It is a good route. There's plenty of opportunities. But whatever way you decide to go, make sure you have the how. If you're a shopper of accounting services and you're looking for the accountant and you say, well, tell me about how you will help me become profitable. What is the methodology that you use to ensure profitability? How do I pay myself? What should I be paying myself? How much should my top line be in order for me to result in X amount in my pocket? These are questions that our family members are going to be able to answer easily. And that's a big thing.
Well, you're right. There are different options out there for what an accounting service can offer as a new suite of services.
Right.
But I will definitely tell you that the accountants, the bookkeepers, the tax preparers that I work with, they see a core strength, a competency in the numbers. Right. And to go outside and get their Series 63 or 7 or go get their insurance license for P&C, those things aren't as natural or comfortable for them to go do. But where Profit First is still based upon accounting, where it's still dealing with revenue and expenses, dealing with the profit, what we're doing is something that is natural, and then we're taking that core strength and we're leveraging it. We're building upon it. We're giving them what they're already comfortable with and giving them an additional way to monetize it. So the accountants, the bookkeepers, the tax preparers that I'm working with, this is a natural extension of what they're already doing. So often what we do is we work with individuals that happen to be professional bookkeepers. They've gone through our training, gotten the certification they need to provide proper bookkeeping services. We're dealing with individuals that are tax preparers, professional tax preparers. These are designations very much appropriate for this skill set, but then to take and complement it with this ability to be a profit first professional, that's just the next extension. That's the next step for them in their career. And I think it's just a natural complement of services that they're then able to provide to their clients. So I don't think what we're doing is we're saying get outside of your comfort zone and do something that is unnatural. We're saying you're halfway there. You're 98% of the way there with your services. Let's just take this one more step and give you the tools you need to properly advise and consult your clients to put profits first.
We're making that bridge. Absolutely.
We're finishing that process, yes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, Roger, I know we're running down to time, but I know you and I were talking a little bit about what we can give the listeners. So one of the things that I'm offering is a free PDF of Mike's book, Profit First, not just the first 5 chapters, but a whole electronic version. So what we can do is hopefully we'll be able to get a pop-up on here, but where can, what's a link there, or where can they find this information on your site?
Well, what you'd want to do is on universalaccountingschool.com, we actually have a page devoted to Profit First professionals and this training and certification that they can each receive. And on that site will be a place where they can, in fact, request information about Profit First professionals and receive, as you just offered, this ebook version of the Profit First professional. And I think this is exactly what they're needing. I think it's a great introduction. It's a great opportunity for them to learn more. But at the same time, what I'd love to do is offer a free consultation where you can speak with one of my representatives and learn exactly what it looks like in your market to be able to offer these services and basically help these clients that you're already working with, or how you can perhaps start or build your own practice with this being one of the services that you can provide.
Absolutely. Love it. And so what's the universal address?
It's universalaccountingschool.com.
Mhm.
And what we have there is a page devoted to Profit First. And what they can do is on that page request this information and get that consultation as well as the ebook.
Get that book, get that consultation, and start creating the firm that you want and start helping everybody out there. So awesome, Roger. Anything else? I'm sure we could talk all day.
We definitely could, and I just want to thank you. I am literally leaving this conversation to speak with a business owner about Profit First. She loves the book, she loves the philosophy, and we're working with her as we do. We work with businesses as well,
Mhm.
and we're consulting her on how to literally move forward with this. And I'm excited to be able to say that this is real world. This is real life. I've got a business owner walking in my door here in literally 5 minutes who's expecting to speak with us about Profit First and how we can actually help her and her business turn things around. And so this is exciting times for us. I love what we're doing. I think this is a phenomenal opportunity for everyone involved. So I encourage everyone to take advantage of this and reach out to us here at Universal Accounting. We'd love to see how we can help each of you individuals apply these principles in your practices and help the clients that you're working with.
Awesome. Love it. So you heard it, everybody. Go to Universal Accounting, click on the Profit First tab, get your free PDF, as well as schedule a call with one of Roger's teammates. They'll share with you how you really can utilize the trainings of Universal Accounting and being a Profit First professional. So thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you soon.
See you on the backside. Take care. Bye, everyone.